forth unto me that is to be ruler in Israel, whose goings forth have been from Micah 5:2. Yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me that is to be ruler in Israel, whose goings forth have been from of old, from everlasting. Because Yahushua was going to come out of that line, and he was going to come out of Bethlehem. And he was born in Bethlehem, but the problem was that the Lord caused Joseph to go into Egypt, and then when he was supposed to go back to Bethlehem, he ended up going up into Galilee, because the Most High set it up that way, because the Lord deals with controversy, so it was easy for you, because the Pharisees and them had wicked ones anyway, had a problem, because they said, look, this man, he was born in Galilee. He wasn't born in Bethlehem. And it was easy for Yahushua to say, well, look, I was born in Bethlehem. And he could have ran the story down to them, but it wasn't meant for them. Now, was Yahushua not from Bethlehem? Yes, he was from Bethlehem. But he was just raised up among the Galileans, because that's the way the Lord wanted it to go down. And that was a prophecy, Nazareth in Galilee, Salakia, and that was prophecy, that the Gentiles saw a great light,
Yeah. I got a precept for you. Back up what you're saying, Isaiah about Yahushua, Isaiah 8:14. It says, and he shall be for a sanctuary, but for a stone of stumbling, and for a rock of offense to both the houses of Israel, and a gin and a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And many among them shall stumble, as they stumbled at that scripture, right? And fall, and be broken, and be snared, and be taken.
Yeah, because they were looking for the salvation and for the Messiah through the letter of the law, and not through faith. And even though the letter of the law spoke about Yahushua, but they just couldn't receive that because it wasn't given to them. But now here it is, they were rulers and masters in Israel, but here it is, the Israelite foreigners who never even touched the Torah, or none of that. They received salvation through faith because they believed. All right, so going back to Isaiah 11:10, it says, and in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. Why? Because the kingdom is going to be glorious. But the Lord has to gather his elect, and then when the elect are gathered, then the end shall come. When this word is preached throughout the four corners of the earth, and the elect are sealed, and these prophecies are sealed, then the end is going to come. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. You have something?
Yeah, I got a precept for you. The last statement you made about the Israelite foreigners getting it through faith. The book of Romans, the 9th chapter and the 30th verse. What shall we say then? That the Gentiles, and you can interpret it, that the Gentiles which followed not after righteousness have attained to righteousness, even the righteousness which is of faith.
Yep.
But Israel, which followed after the law of righteousness, have not attained to the law of righteousness. Wherefore? Because they sought it not by faith, but as it were by the works of the law.
Right, and that's not the way it was coming, because the Lord already set up the criteria. What was the criteria? Through Abraham. Abraham believed, and therefore it was appointed unto him, or accounted unto him for righteousness. So that was the standard that the Lord set up.
Yeah, it says, wherefore, because they sought it not by faith. When it says Israel, talking about them Jews.
Yep.
But as it were by the works of the law. And that's a cut to IUIC. Yep. They think they're going to find salvation by the works of the law. And they can't.
And they don't keep the law.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
No, they got this bragging and boasting about the law. They don't even keep the law.
Or one of their students got hammered by what's his name?
Yep.
The great Alizé.
Yep.
The great Alizar.
And the dude had, his face was totally shaved, and he had a big bush underneath his neck, right under here. He just had a bush of hair under here, and the rest of his face was shaven. I'm like, what, what's the sense? What's the sense? Here it is, you can have that bit of hair right here, but then not on the rest of your face. That should look crazy, man.
Wherefore, because they sought it not by faith, but as it were by the works of the law. For they stumbled at that stumbling stone.
Well, they are Islam United in Christ, right?
Well, there you
Because he
go.
looked like a dude named Mustafa, or so, like his
That
name
was-
should be Mustafa or Ahmed or Muhammad. 'Cause, yeah, that's what them Muslims. That's how they some of them shave off their mustache,
Oh, yeah.
and some of them shave off.
Yeah, why don't them guys just wear suits and just shave all,
Con. Yeah.
just shave off everything, man, and wear business suits,
Yeah.
Hey, man, them people, that's why we call them guys zombies, man.
Con.
We don't even really get on them that much,
Right. Right.
You have more Apostle Paul?
Yeah, just one verse left. As it is written, behold, I lay in Zion a stumbling stone. This is why the Apostle Peter congratulated the Apostle Paul, man, on his writings. You read stuff like that, and if you don't have that spirit with you, man, you'd be totally lost. You wouldn't know what the hell that's talking about. And that's why the Apostle Peter said of the Apostle Paul, his writings in which some things are hard to be understood. As it is written, behold, I lay in Zion a stumbling stone and a rock of offense, and whosoever believeth on him shall not be ashamed. That's it.
Let's go back to Isaiah.
Okay, back to Isaiah 11 and 10 again. Okay. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. Excuse me. And it shall come to pass, and in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. The Gentiles are the Israelite foreigners, because they're going to be seeking to Yahushua. They didn't have the understanding of all the law, statutes, and commandments back then. The standard was going to be Yahushua. That was how they were going to receive their salvation.
Let me say this. When you read these prophecies, the prophets didn't always understand what these prophecies that they were prophesying, but it was already set up in the spirit that Israel's going to be scattered. Israel's going to be scattered. You're going to have a great number of Israelites that's going to lose their religion, so to speak, meaning not know what nationality they are. And that ultimately happened to all of us. That ultimately happened to all of us, where we all the tribes, so-called lost who we were. So we had to get it back by a miracle, by the fact that the Most High put the Spirit on men to teach other men, and they went out on the highways and the byways and ultimately used YouTube and the web to wake up these people.
Yeah, and that's what's happening right now, right?
And this thing is like wildfire, man. This thing is like wildfire.
Yeah, and it's happening right now. It's what you're seeing right now before you when you see the different videos and the camps going out there about the truth. The men of beginning with the apostles, the great millstone. That's the fulfillment of these prophecies and these scriptures, and the gospel being spread out, and the ensign being Yahushua being uplifted.
And that's making these Edomites scared, because that's why they send that group out talking about how to deal with the Israelites, because they're behind the scenes, they're getting nervous because they're seeing that the prophecies are being fulfilled in front of their eyes. See, Jake don't see it. The ones whose eyes are closed, they don't see it. But the elite, they see it, man. So they're trying to bring guys out to do videos and stuff to show how to deal with the Israelites, and that's why they said GMS is the worst group of them all, and we take that as a compliment, That's why you went to a GOCC, because they're open to Gentiles, meaning other nations, which simply prove that they don't know the scriptures, man. All right? That's why one of the last scriptures, the last videos that they did, the dude said it. He said, we ain't going to, it's not going to be like roots. It's not going to be like roots in our kingdom. Well, I immediately made a counter video to that, man. And I pulled out 10, 11 scriptures showing you what we're going to do to them Edomites.
Even earlier, Apostle Tar said about, what was that, Balaam? What he said? Yeah, he said the people are going to get crushed.
That was one of the scriptures that I brought out.
Yeah.
You know?
So even he, being a heathen, saw what Israel going to do to those foreign nations, man. You know?
That's right. All right, so back in Isaiah 11:11, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. It says, but they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines. Sound like some roots shit to me. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines towards the west. They shall spoil them of the east together.
Wait a minute. What about the book of Psalms, the second chapter? Come. Yeah, what about the book of Psalms, the second chapter? Where we going to beginning with Yahushua, you're going to receive a scepter, bash people in the head, split their head wide open. What about that? That sounds like some root stuff, some root shit. Roots shit. Worse than roots,
That's violence.
Yeah, man.
Okay, the word for spoil is the word bazas or bazaza, to spoil, plunder, prey upon, seize, to spoil, plunder, despoil, to be spoiled, plundered, to be taken as spoil. Let's see if there's anything else. The whole snap. The primary power appears to be that of to pull in pieces.
Oh, that's worse than roots. Ain't nobody pull nobody to pieces in the roots. The worst thing that happened to roots was they whipped them and they cut Kunta Kinte's foot off, man. They're gonna pull them to pieces, man.
I got to back you up, bro. The book of Revelation 2 and beginning at 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers. Like you said, pieces. Even as I received of my father.
They can put the chains on your body. Never let them put the chains on your
GOCC
mind.
was right. It's not gonna be like roots. It's gonna be 100 times worse than roots.
That's what happens when you have
That's why them Edomites ran over to these guys, man. Because they were gonna get, they were gonna get their backs pat,
See you be my equal.
friendly neighborhood Israelites.
friendly neighborhood Israelites.
This is a
Move and
cold
look and don't
slice
ever
of
look
cut.
back.
Micah 5:7. And the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people, as a dew from the Lord, as the showers upon the grass, that tarrieth not for man, nor waiteth for the sons of men. And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest, as a young lion among the flocks of sheep, who if he go through, both treadeth down and teareth in pieces.
Now, how can you get any other interpretation? Well, that really means, see, that's spiritual, and that means this, and you can't get any other interpretation, man.
It says, Who, if he go through, both treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver.
I got a precept for
Hey,
you.
that means you can't call 911. Because 911 going to be looking to save their own ass, man.
That's right.
It's-
This is the book.
Can I, one more verse,
Oh,
Babakosha? It says, thine hand shall be lifted up upon thine adversaries, and all thine enemies shall be cut off.
And see, just like the weatherman, you watch the weatherman, right? You know, whatever your favorite weatherman is, right? Let's say it's going to rain 3 days straight. Can you get mad at the weatherman? No. You a damn fool if you get mad at the weatherman. All he's doing is giving you the forecast of what the weather's going to be. He said for the next 3 days it's going to be rain, but on that fourth day, Thursday or whatever, the sun's going to come out. But we got to deal with that rain first. You can't get mad at the weatherman. All he's doing is forecasting the weather, all right? The same thing with us. We're forecasting what's going to happen. That's why we're known as prophets. We're forecasting as to what's going to happen. So why get mad at us? All we're doing is we're giving you the message, man. Now, if we change it and we say, yeah, Edomites can make it and, you know, this, that, and the other, you still gonna get jacked up. But you're going to be thinking everything's going to be all right until your ass until that thing takes place. And then you're going to be looking at me like you lied to me. Well, first of all, you're supposed to say, look, GMS, we love them guys. All of you, Edomites, Moabites, all of you supposed to say, we love them guys because they told us the truth. Right. Well, it tells you in Jeremiah 1 that the Most High set up Jeremiah to be a prophet unto the nations, man.
I got a precept, the book of Jeremiah 51 and 19. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, for with thee will I break in pieces the nations. That sounds worse than roots.
Break in pieces.
Break in pieces. And with thee will I destroy kingdoms. And with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider. And with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman. And with thee will I break in pieces old and young.
Oh, by the way, Cornelius is going to be on that side. He's going to be on the side of Jacob.
Con.
He's going to be doing the breaking in pieces.
In pieces.
Breaking bad.
Breaking bad, right? And with thee will I break in pieces old and young. That sounds worse than roots. And with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock. And with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen. And with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. So, you know.
I got a scripture right here. And this is Numbers 23, verse 7 on down to 11, right? It says, and he took up his parable and said, Balak, the king of Moab, have brought me from Aram out of the mountains of the east, saying, come, curse me, Jacob, and come, defy Israel. How shall I curse whom the Most High have not cursed? So this king of Balak gave him a lot of riches to do this. And he's saying, and he was going to do it too. And the Most High did slap him, buffer him up, you know? And he said, then he came to his senses, and he said, well, look. He said, you can't curse these people. These are the Most High's people. It says, or how shall I defy whom the Most High have not defied? A ninth verse. For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people, meaning Israelites, shall dwell alone and shall not be recognized among the nations. That's why you got that group. You got a lot of groups